Chapman, the internationalforecaster.com, will be with us a little bit in the next hour. We're going to have open phones with Bob Chapman through this hour and the next. And Raleigh James, syndicated radio talk show host, will be joining us with their perspective on the federal report saying gun owners, veterans are the greatest threat. And that's what it says. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, and the media is even having to admit that now. I keep telling the police and military, the first people they're going to come after in a hot police state, in a real tyranny, in the type of purge system they're planning, is going to be you. And they're setting up a police state because our standard of living is going to implode. Bob Chapman was in military intelligence, and he was one of the most successful silver and gold brokers in the world, had the largest financial newsletter for a time, retired, came back. And Bob also helped publish None Dare Call a Conspiracy with Gary Allen. He's been fighting the New World Order for 45-plus years. Bob, a quick segment. I want to come back and just take a lot of calls today with you so folks have a chance to talk to you, Eddie and Tito and Paul and Philip and others that are holding. But first off, we knew they were putting out the reports. We've been putting this out for decades, that Christians, gun owners are terrorists. But now they're saying the number one threat, and I guess we are a threat because this government's so criminal and wants to do kind of a Soviet-style purge to re-educate the American people. And I guess we are a threat when folks find out the bankers have totally destroyed our future and the public tries to bring the bankers to justice. I guess we are a threat to the Madoffs that run things.
Well, that's for sure. And that's because we're reaching millions of people all over the world every week. And they don't want that. They want to keep the people ignorant of who's done what to them and what they're planning for them. And we're being very, very effective. That's why in weeks past, you and I on this program and you with others have discussed the major media trying to pick up and use or infiltrate what we're doing. And we discussed that in the things that Mr. Beck had been talking about on his shows and others. And they're terrified because they don't want the people to know. And the people who are overseas in the military, they know something's wrong. And a lot of them are very unhappy. They saw their friends. And you're in the military, the guy that's with you, whether you like him or not, he's your friend because your life may depend on it, and his as well. And they've seen a lot of their friends get killed, and then they hear the kind of things that we're saying, and they're saying, gee, what am I doing here? Why did I do this? All I'm doing is working for Wall Street and a bunch of politicians, and they're bad people. And so that's why they consider, overall, generally speaking, veterans to be part of the enemy. And they made them that way. They made you and I that way by being evil and using the people and doing things to the people that they should have never done. And as I've said on the program before, they are not going to win. We may pay a great price, but we will win. But they're going to lose, and they're never going to be able to do it again for a long time.
Well, tyrants generally fall. Nations almost always fall to tyranny, but the tyrants always fall. The question is, how bad does it get before things fall? Because tyrants just can't help abusing people and dominating and stealing. And the criminals they hire, it's like a bacterial infection. They just breed and breed and breed until nothing's left and everything collapses or the people rebel and overthrow them. And, the globalists call this a scientific dictatorship, but they're not carrying it out completely in a scientific way. They enjoy their work too much, and they're getting a little bit out of control and pushing it a little too fast. And if we would just wake people up, arrest the bankers, arrest the New World Order who've committed all these crimes in the drug war, in the prohibition on the Second Amendment, all of this would end overnight. But instead, they're going to hold the course, and it's just going to come to a head. And I just hope the police and military realize, those of you that still don't understand what's happening, you're being marched towards your own destruction. And the globalists plan to have a purge of the police and military in the controlled crises they plan to set up between the American people and them. And how about we just bypass all that and arrest the bankers? Isn't that a better plan, Bob?
It certainly is. And I don't know how we're going to go about that. It's going to be pretty difficult because they own Congress. They bought them all off. And there would have to be some sort of resurrection in Congress and from out of the blue, and they would have to say, gee, Alex and people like him are correct. We got to do something about this because maybe they'll come after us, and we really didn't do anything except take money. And so that could happen.
Bob, stay there. It could happen if we push it. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are here live. And I'm back, 9 to midnight. Central Standard Time, re-aired on the good old WWCR. It's actually 9 to 1 a.m. It's a 4-hour show they re-air on WWCR and AM and FM stations across the country and the world. And number one at Shoutcast at Infowars.com. Number one radio talk show on the Internet. You can, of course, also get our free podcast at Infowars.com by clicking on the Listen Live page, and right there is the podcast. Just copy the code onto your MP3 or iPod type device. Listen how you want, where you want, when you want. I don't know. A few weeks ago, I checked. It was over 135,000 people a day downloading it for free. I just know I get a huge $6,000 or $7,000 bill each month for that podcast alone, and that's getting the bandwidth cheap. But, hey, free to you. We're paying for it, but that's what the sponsors that we have on the show also make possible. We are not, sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase. We are not sponsored by the Bank of England, the New World Order, or by Merck Pharmaceutical like Rick Perry. So we have a lot of other great sponsors that make it all possible. Look, if you take anything away from this, then we're going to go to your calls. Anything away from what I and Bob Chapman are discussing here, understand this. The world is a brutal, cold, dangerous place in history. And good men and women have gotten together and created systems to protect their liberty in the past. And even when you're desperately guarding it and fighting for it, it's very hard to keep. Now, when you run around drunk on power, having fun, not caring what's going on, giggling and laughing when people warn you about tyranny, you are going to get hurt real bad every single time. Okay? And I told everybody for years, I said, all this Al-Qaeda and all this anti-terror, the feds already tried to bomb Oklahoma City and get a police state going in the name of, going after terrorists within in America. And I said that didn't work too well for them. So I said they're going to stage terror attacks and blame it on foreigners. And I said that in 99, 2000, 2001. Because I could read the public white papers put out by government and others where they were saying we sure need a terror attack. If we had foreigners attacking us or what looked like were foreigners, then we could, with a big Pearl Harbor event, launch this global war against a shadowy enemy because you can't ever beat terrorism. I mean, they basically came out and said they were going to do it. They were 99% there in PNAC documents and Grand Chessboard. And I was like, folks, there's an Army document says this. Look at that. Get ready. They're going to attack us. Well, Alex, what do you think they'll blow up? Oh, the World Trade Center. They already bombed it once. And that even came out. And I'm telling you, these are ruthless people. They are cunning. And they're going for broke now. They have committed crimes so huge. We're devastated. This is depression. It's done. The question is, will we now let them sit on top of us during the Depression and make it worse? Or will we bring them to justice and turn things around? Okay? And they know if we turn it around, the only way we turn it around is them going to prison. They're not going to turn loose. While they're walking around free, folks, they'll stage terror attacks, they'll release bird flu, they'll start World War III, they'll set off nukes. They're bold, folks. That's why they're in control. They're bold and they're ruthless and they're evil. And they're sadistic. They enjoy their work. They don't just do it cold-bloodedly. They enjoy it. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Military, police, good old boys, liberals, everybody else. Grow up, face reality, face what we're up against, or it's over. I'm not risking my life for nothing. I know Bob Chapman hadn't been. And he's had to leave the country to stuff they were doing to him to keep the fight going. Now, this is real, ladies and gentlemen. You know how real it is when they persecute you. Now, going back to Bob Chapman. Bob, I mean, I'm trying to throw the gauntlet down to people so they understand that the globalists already threw the gauntlet down. We don't have a choice in this. Be slaves or fight back. And the most frustrating thing is I see people fighting back and having an effect, and I know if people really took action, we would kick the butt of the New World Order. Bob Chapman.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why when I have the opportunity to go on programs, even how remote they are, I take it. I was on with a group of Republicans in Palm Beach County in Florida this week. And I was amazed that the call-ins that came in on the program were asking the kind of people questions that your audience does. So there's a lot of people out there who are helping us, who are working for the same end, and that is to expose the people who have created all these problems for America and for the world.